Hello and welcome to the Adventures in Marketing podcast. My name is Gwen Montoya. I am so thrilled that you are here today. Today, I want to talk about what we can do when we feel like we're not making sales and we feel like we're doing all the things, but what's missing, right? This is a really common thing. And let's talk about how to jumpstart our marketing, how to find the gaps, and how to improve what we're doing so that we can get the sales that we need to keep our business going. And we'll also talk about some of those things that maybe you're not thinking about, but can have a big impact on your business. So, first of all, let's talk about posting content. And I know that it can be so frustrating to feel like you are constantly on a social media hamster wheel, constantly having to post content. However, it might be that the content that you are posting is not landing with your audience. There's a couple of different reasons. It might be you're still doing what worked a year or two ago, and it's just not working anymore. So it might be time to really look at what your audience is looking for, what kind of content they resonate with, look at what your competitors are doing, see if there's something that you are missing that you could be working into your social media. It is also entirely possible that your audience just isn't looking for the same kinds of things. When you are thinking about how to improve your social media, there's a couple of things that we can look at. Number one, get really clear on who your audience is. And if you haven't looked at that in the past couple of years, this is a good time to maybe take some time, really dig into who they are, where they shop, what they're looking for, what their price ranges are, all of those kinds of things that we know about our audience. But if you haven't refreshed what you think about your audience recently, this might be a good time. Number two, maybe your audience is really looking for a kind of content that you're not creating. Really think about what it is that moves the needle for your audience, what takes them from just passively looking at your content to actually leaving a comment or sharing or sending you a DM. And the cool thing is that we can use our analytics to tell us this information. So look at your social media posts across all of your different platforms over the past 90 days, over the past 60 days of the content that you're sharing. What is actually getting people to have some kind of a reaction? The other thing to think about is that people may not be as likely to want to leave comments on public spaces anymore. We're seeing a lot of shift to direct messages back and forth and sharing content. So just because your audience isn't necessarily leaving comments and isn't liking every post doesn't mean they're not watching. And I think that this is a place where business owners can get really frustrated. And I completely understand it because we put so much effort and time and intention into creating these posts, and it can feel like they land flat. However, it is possible that your audience is watching you. They're just not engaging with you, but they are paying attention. So don't stop posting, but get clear on what you think your ideal audience, who that person is that you really want to sell to, who you really want to work with. What is it that they're really looking for, and how can you provide that? And a slight side quest here. I do want to point out that when somebody goes to your website, they will often go to your social media to check you out. So even if you're not necessarily growing in followers, even if you're not necessarily, being swamped with comments, your audience could be looking at what you're doing. So keep going, don't give up, just get really clear on what you think they're looking for and get curious and experiment. I think that that is a thing that small businesses, I know I often do it too. We get frustrated, we get overwhelmed, we get behind on all of the other things that we need to work on. Social media falls to the bottom of the list and it becomes a thing that we're just doing to check a box. Take some time, maybe go to the library, go to your favorite coffee shop, really make some content ideas that you want to experiment with and get curious with the idea that when you are posting, you're going to see what happens. We're not expecting any kind of specific outcome. We're just looking to see what happens to see if it makes a difference for your audience. And if it does, great, do more of that. If it doesn't, move on to your next idea and experiment and stay curious so that you can learn and grow with your audience, so that you don't get frustrated, so you don't get to the point where you just want to quit it all. When it comes to posting on social media, one of the things that I would suggest is to utilize tools like stories, like your Instagram highlights, speaking specifically about Instagram, but your stories and highlights are places that people can go to learn more about you, to get a little bit of a feel for who you are behind the scenes. But the great thing about stories is that you can post a link in your story. So don't be shy about sending somebody directly to where you want them to go or utilizing your highlights on Instagram for a collection of products so they can go exactly where they need to go. Another challenge I've seen often for small businesses is that they're swamped in all of the day-to-day tasks they need to do, their marketing, their regular work, everything that they need to do with clients, that social media not only kind of falls down the list of things that they need to do, responding to comments and being active on the platform becomes even less important to them. Paradoxically, it can be the thing that makes a difference because when somebody leaves a comment and you don't respond, you're not really engaging with them. You're not really being social on social media. You're just using it as a broadcast platform, which, depending on your goals, maybe that's okay. But if you want to get sales, if you want to grow on social media, you need to use the platforms like a user, not just like an advertiser who comes and drops their content and then leaves. So make sure if somebody leaves a comment that you are responding, engage with other accounts. Don't be somebody who only posts and ghosts, as they say, because it's not going to be as effective for you in the long run. And you're also not training your community to pay attention to you because you just show up in their feed as an advertisement and then bounce. And you show up in their feed as an advertisement and then you go away. And it's just not going to have the same impact as showing up with intention and showing up with a plan and really understanding what they're looking for and giving that to them. When it comes to email marketing, hopefully you're sending an email to your list somewhat regularly. But again, if you are just selling to your list constantly and that's the only thing that you're doing with your email list, it's going to be hard for them to want to hear from you unless you are a big retailer and you're constantly pushing out sales, in which case you've trained your audience to only buy from you when there's a discount, which is also probably not beneficial to you as a small business owner. So when you're thinking about your email list, this is a community. These are people who have given you their email. That's kind of a big deal. And it's important to understand that your email list can be the way that you connect with people without having to be on social media. It's a way for you to get in front of somebody pretty much whenever you want. It goes straight to their inbox, and that's huge. Let's say you're sending emails regularly to your list, but who was on your list? How well do you know them? Obviously, they are going to be signing up either through a freebie or an opt-in or some other way that they signed up. Here's a thing that I have seen many small businesses get into a trap of is that they have grown their entire email list based on people who are looking for freebies or discounts or who are just collecting information, but they're never really moving forward. So there are a couple of ways that we can improve this so that you hopefully get better conversion on your email list. If you are giving a freebie or an offer or a discount or whatever it is, that it is really targeted to the people that you want on your email list. You're not just creating one just to have one. It really is designed to draw people to you who you really want to work with or who you think would be really good customers for you. Number two, make sure that you have a welcome series. When you're setting up a welcome automation, obviously you're going to give them the thing that they requested, whether that's an ebook or a checklist or a video series or whatever it is that you've decided to give somebody. When somebody signs up for your email list, they are more likely statistically to open those first couple of emails from you. So what happens a lot of times is small business owners will be thrilled that they got a new email subscriber and then they won't send them anything and it will just be the next email that is in their monthly email or weekly email or whatever it is that they send. But that audience member, that new community member may forget why they signed up, or it could be that if you somebody signs up on the first of the month and you don't send your email out until the 20th, there's a big chunk of time where they're not hearing anything from you, and then suddenly you're in their inbox and they have a higher chance of unsubscribing because they don't remember signing up for your email. So instead of letting that happen, what I suggest is a welcome series. This is something that you can set up. It's automated. The beauty of it is once you do it, you can check it once a quarter just to make sure it's still accurate, make sure you don't need to update it. But beyond that, it really is a set it and forget it kind of thing. So when somebody signs up for your email list, they get a couple of emails from you, something that introduces you, something that introduces your offers, talks about how you work with people, maybe shares some testimonials, maybe sends some other resources that would be beneficial to them. That's a really good way to keep your email list warm. Another reason your email list may not be converting for you, just like social media, is that what you're sending to your audience may not be something that they're interested in. Your business may have shifted, they may have shifted, maybe they're not even opening your emails anymore. So one of the things that I would recommend is taking time to clean up your email list. Meaning, if somebody hasn't opened an email from you in 6 months, are they really interested in you? Are they still interested if they haven't opened anything that you've sent them in 6 months? Probably not, especially if you're sending monthly or even weekly. Like, that's a lot of emails that they're just deleting and not paying attention to. So, cleaning up your email list gives you a better idea of what's actually working for your audience instead of having a lot of people on there who are messing with your analytics because they're not opening and they're not engaging. So, you can feel like you're having a lower click rates or you're having lower open rates. But in reality, you just have people on your list who aren't interested in what you're offering anymore. And that's completely okay to let them go. There's a couple of ways that you can do that. One is you can just clean up your email list and just remove them if they haven't opened an email from you after a certain amount of time. The other thing you can do is try what's called kind of a win back campaign. So trying to win them back, trying to get them to open the email from you. That's an easy thing to do. And in the back end of your email service provider, you should be able to determine who gets emails from you. So you can say, send this to people who haven't opened anything from me in a certain amount of time or a certain amount of email sent. And then you can have a cleaner list so you have a better idea of what's working. And then once you do that, then you can experiment with some different kinds of content to see what gets somebody to respond to you. That's always lovely when somebody sends you an email back from your email, or what gets them to click on things in an email. So it really is, again, we have to approach this with curiosity. We have to approach it from a perspective of, how can I serve my people better? How can I help them get the information that they want? And of course, how can I move them from just being a passive watcher or a passive somebody hanging out near me to actively wanting to work with me and making a purchase? We should talk about CTAs here also, those calls to action. It isn't uncommon for small businesses to feel so nervous and uncomfortable asking for a sale, essentially, that they never put in a call to action in their email. They never explicitly tell somebody what they want them to do next after reading the email, after reading about this new offer. It's not enough to tell people about our offers. We also have to make it really easy for them to sign up. Something that is button shaped is probably going to have a bigger impact than a link that's kind of hidden in the text. So don't be shy about promoting what you have. And of course, we have to talk about our home base, which is our website. Our website is the one thing that we have complete control over. When somebody comes, there's no ads, there's no distractions, there's no pop-ups happening unless we put them there, obviously. But for the most part, this is a place where somebody can come and learn about us from either they're coming from social media or they're coming from your email or they found you organically or they got a referral. However, they landed on your website, we want to make sure that it's working as hard as it can for us to help them make that choice to work with us, to learn more about us, to sign up for our email list, to go watch a YouTube video, whatever it is that we want them to do from our website. And again, we have to be very clear and direct. If somebody comes to our website and they are not sure what you do, they're not sure how you can work with them, they're not sure how you can help them, they're going to go somewhere else because there's not a lot of time for them to make a decision. I mean, they have a lot of time, but we make snap decisions as people. That's just what we do. So when somebody lands on your website and they're scanning and they can't see what they're looking for, they're going to go somewhere else. So we want to make really clear that who you are and who you serve, what you offer is really clear as soon as somebody lands on your website. It's really important for somebody to be able to take that next step. Again, buttons are your friend. So if your goal is to get somebody on a discovery call with you or to book a consult with you, we want to make that really clear. We don't want to hide those. We don't want to make somebody work for it. A button that's very obvious is going to help you and it's going to help them because it's going to take stress off of them. They don't have to hunt around to figure out what their next steps are. You've already told them with a nice, clear direction. And that's what we want for your website. We also want to make sure that you're using the words and phrases that your audience would use when they're looking for what you do. If somebody comes to your website and you're using a lot of jargony terms that maybe they don't use, or you're not being really clear and direct with how you can work with somebody, again, they'll go somewhere else because they think that they're in the wrong place. And nobody wants to hang out someplace where they think it's not the right place for them to be. So they will go somewhere else. So when you're thinking about not only the words and the phrases, like the actual in your copy, but also your navigation headings, make those really clear. Don't make somebody puzzle to figure out what that page that they're going to land on is going to be. Don't make somebody really have to think about Is this what I want? Is this not what I want? The goal of your website, of any of your website pages, of any of your sales pages should be to help somebody make a decision about either moving forward or deciding that you're not the right person. And that moving forward could be booking a call, it could be making a sale, it could be signing up for your email list. There's a lot of variety there. But if we make somebody pause and think and have to consider, they're going to get confused and probably go somewhere else that is clearer and easier for them to understand. Now, the work that I do as a marketing strategist ties everything together because I see it as being all connected. So, yes, you could be talking to the wrong people on social media and the right people on your website, and your email people are confused. And you could get some traction there. But when everything works together and you are really clear across all of your marketing channels, who you're for, what your audience needs, how they can get that from you, it's going to be so much better for you. And that's when you start to make sales. So, here are the reasons that you might not be making sales right now and how to fix it. Number one, you could be using words and phrases or talking to an audience that isn't interested in what you have. That's an easy fix. You just have to figure out who the right people are that you should be talking to and start figuring out how to get in front of them. It could also be that what you're offering just isn't aligned with what people are looking for right now, at least the people that you're attracting. So again, are you talking to the right people, and is your offer the right offer for those people? Those two things are really important. The thing that could be getting in the way of you getting sales is that you're feeling disconnected, you're feeling pulled in a bunch of directions, you're not being able to show up where you need to show up in the way that you need to show up. So if you're feeling that way, if you're feeling really pulled in a bunch of directions and you're not sure where to go, one of the best things that you can do is pause. Just take some time, take a day, like I said, go out of your normal routine, take some time and really think about the audience that you want to work with. Who is your ideal client? And not from the perspective of who will buy from you, which is also very important, but who gets you excited? Who gets you really excited to work with them? Because when you talk about reaching out to those people, it's better for you because you feel more excited to work with those customers. And it gets you clearer on your messaging because you're not trying to talk to everybody. I don't think there's any business in the world except maybe a 7-Eleven that would appeal to every single person. And so if you are trying to appeal to such a wide range of people that nobody feels like you're talking to them, that's a problem. Your audience should feel like you're talking directly to them and they are excited to hear from you. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, my email is gwen@gwenmontoya.com. If this sparked any ideas in you, if you are going to approach something in a new way, I would love to hear from you. Let me know what's going on.